The day Eleanor was diagnosed with late-stage stomach cancer, I begged Ethan to look after our 3-year-old Aurora, but he hid in the meditation room, chanting prayers and ignoring me. The next day, he avenged his close friend, injuring her family members at his family's home. Then held her intimately. When his close friend worried Grace would be angry, he simply said, "You're the one I love." He entered a monastery to avoid me, then returned to secular life after committing a crime for her sake. Holding, who suffered from asthma, I understood he shunned me. Yet he named our daughter Aurora his love. It seemed, was reserved only for her. Beyond the drapes, Chloe was the first to spot me. She clutched her clothes tighter and backed away. "I'm sorry, Grace," she began. "Ethan and I aren't what you think. He was just comforting me because I just got divorced. Please don't be angry, Grace. I really know I was wrong. You can hit me or scold me, whatever you want. I promise to behave and draw a clear line with Ethan." She was terrified, tripping over a meditation cushion and falling. Drawing blood, Ethan rushed to help her, his blue monastic robes half open. Revealing his strong, muscular upper body, he knelt sideways before the Buddha, facing her, and with a devout and solemn gesture, pulled her into his embrace. "Don't be afraid of her, sweetheart. No matter what happens, I'm here." He gently comforted Chloe, then turned to me, his gaze sharp. "Why did you suddenly show up and scare Chloe? You know how easily she gets startled. She suffered so much hardship at his family's home, serving the family hand and foot and even getting beaten. Her personality is much softer and gentler now. She's learned to be more compliant. She can't endure suffering like you can. I've already returned to secular life to live a proper life with you. What more do you want?" Chloe huddled in his arms, looking at me provocatively. I ignored her, my eyes welling up with tears. "Aurora ran here to find you. And she had an asthma attack from too much incense, convulsing uncontrollably. She needs to go to the hospital, but Eleanor just entered the ICU. And I can't manage everything alone. Would you please come to the hospital with me?" Ethan scoffed coldly, annoyed. "Asthma isn't fatal. Besides, Chloe just got divorced and is heartbroken. She desperately needs my comfort. I don't have time. Didn't your friend text you before, saying there's another monk in the meditation room with a good physique? Go find him and ask for a string of blessed prayer beads. Your daughter won't die then." My lips trembled with panic. Aurora needs to go to the hospital. Prayer beads won't help, and the asthma medication hasn't had any effect. "I beg you." Ethan's eyes were bloodshot. He took off his prayer beads and threw them at me. "Can you stop being so unreasonable? Your daughter is just having an asthma attack, but Chloe almost died. Didn't you trick me into taking something that induced conception to have that child? Why should I bear the burden with you for the consequences of your unilateral actions? You broke my monastic vows and now you want my love too. You're shameless and insatiable. You've truly defiled this sacred meditation space." The beads scattered, shattering across the floor. Chloe, frightened, cowered in the corner. Ethan carried her bridal style and comforted her. "I'm sorry, I scared you. I'll take you back to my private quarters." His monastic robes hung half off his shoulder as Chloe's fair wrist circled his neck, and they walked further and further away. "So, he was angry about the night I conceived Aurora. But I didn't do anything that night. You were overwhelmed by emotion and forced yourself on me. When I took Aurora to see the doctor, Eleanor had already been in the ICU for a day and a night. Ethan suddenly called me. "Where are you? Why aren't you home? We're married, and you're still always out and about. Grace, when are you going to learn how to be a good woman, like Chloe?" "I'm home. Bring me the keys quickly. Chloe is delicate and susceptible to colds, swamped with tasks," I replied weakly. "Understood." After entrusting Aurora and Eleanor to the nurse, I rushed over without delay. I tried to open the door with the key, but it wouldn't go in. Just as I was at a loss, intimate sounds came from inside. Chloe's voice was broken, soft and clinging. "Ethan, what if Grace finds out? Didn't you love her the most in college? Grace has kept this home for you all these years. She has put in her time. Although I love you, I don't want to destroy your family, Ethan. If you had been the one to marry me back then, would things have turned out differently? If knew you weren't actually an orphan and struggling student, but the heir to Hayes, she'd cling to you even harder. I'm different, Ethan. I've always been in it for you, not your status." Ethan's voice then chimed in. "She doesn't deserve my money or my love. At a time like this, don't mention unhappy people. Come on, tell me you love me, Ethan. I love you. I love you. I love you." My hands trembled as I kept backing away. All the memories of the past flashed before my eyes, the first time I saw Chloe. I was working a part-time job. She scoffed at me with contempt, mocking me for finding a treasure without realizing it, and whispered intimately with Ethan right in front of me. After we married, Ethan coldly observed my struggles to find work, and then, while I was pregnant, he entered a monastery despite our family's difficulties. I belatedly realized everything, filled with shame and anger. I left the keys outside the door and fled. That night, I drafted divorce papers and sent them to Ethan. "Let's get a divorce. I'm letting you go." Within 10 minutes, Ethan called back. "Grace, what are you causing trouble for again? Didn't I return to secular life just to give you and Aurora a stable life?" Chloe and I just hadn't seen each other in a long time, and we were a bit overwhelmed by emotion. "Are you really that upset about it? Or are you trying to get my attention this way? I genuinely cared for you in college, but you know what you did back then. If it weren't for you, how would Chloe have married that abusive husband? He was your senior from school. Bring to the marital home. Chloe was abused because of you and can't get pregnant for the rest of her life. Call her mom, consider it fulfilling her wish." I froze, my fingertips clutching the phone, turning white, my throat tightened, and I couldn't make a sound. I didn't understand why Aurora, my own child, should call Chloe mom. Seeing my silence, Ethan's voice held a trace of sharpness. "What, you don't want to? After all these years, you're still so selfish. My chanting prayers and meditating haven't affected you at all. Your karma is still so heavy." Chloe's voice suddenly rang out from the other end of the line. "Ethan, be gentle with her. Don't be so harsh. She's been with you for so many years. There must be some genuine affection." I was stunned for a long time. After years of marriage, Ethan had never allowed me to call him Ethan. It wasn't that he disliked the name. He just didn't want me to use it. Ethan sneered. "Grace, at this point, Chloe is still pleading for you. How can you even compare to her? The child is mine. What right do you have to prevent her from seeing me?" The call ended. I had just entered the ICU to see Eleanor when the nurse ran up, saying Aurora was missing. My mind buzzed, my legs went weak, and I sank to the floor, my hands trembling as I called Ethan. He answered impatiently. "What is it now?" I spoke urgently. "Aurora is missing." No sooner had I spoken than Chloe's voice came from the other end of the line. "Aurora, can you call me mom?" My legs regained strength, and I immediately took a taxi back to the marital home Ethan and I shared. Pushing open the door, I saw Chloe feeding Aurora eggs. I rushed over and, without thinking, slapped the plate away. "Asthma patients can't eat eggs. The child is young and doesn't know." "But are you still young?" Chloe immediately fell to the floor, her feet cut and bleeding from the shattered pieces. Just then, Ethan walked out of the kitchen, slowly removing the prayer beads from his wrist and putting them in his pocket, then slapped me across the face. A metallic taste of blood spread in my mouth. Chloe cowered in the corner, her hands and feet covered in blood, desperately stuffing the scattered eggs into her mouth. "I won't dare again. I'll eat them. I'll eat them. I'm sorry. Grace, I'll never give Aurora eggs again. I'll eat them all." Ethan frowned, his teeth grinding. He gently bent down, picked up Chloe, and placed her on the sofa. He stroked her hair, softly comforting her. There, don't be scared. Grace is just playing a game with you. She's not really angry." Aurora was already trembling, terrified by the scene. I pulled her into my arms and covered her eyes. "Don't be scared, baby. Daddy isn't mad at you." The next second, Ethan walked toward us and snatched Aurora from my arms. Without a word, he shoved the freshly cooked eggs into Aurora's mouth. Aurora had an asthma attack, breathing rapidly, coughing frequently, her small face turning bright red. I knelt, crying, trying to stop him. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have hit Chloe. Please stop feeding Aurora eggs." Ethan put Aurora down and glared at me fiercely. "How can a child eating an egg trigger an asthma attack? Aren't you just upset that Chloe wants Aurora to call her mom? You direct all your malice at Chloe. Yet, she worries the child won't get enough to eat with you and specifically asked me to cook eggs for her. She even said you're having a tough time looking after Eleanor in the ICU while also caring for your own child, and that we shouldn't be so harsh. She's hurting for your own flesh and blood, but what about you? Not only are you ungrateful, but you senselessly hit her. Aurora can eat eggs. Isn't she eating them just fine?" I watched Aurora, nearly suffocating, and frantically rummaged through her small purse for her asthma medication and sprayed it, but instead of getting better, Aurora's condition worsened until she went into shock. Ethan's expression suddenly changed, his eyes bloodshot, just as he was about to step forward. Chloe collapsed on the sofa. He rushed to Chloe without hesitation, shaking her frantically, tears streaming down his face. "Chloe, wake up." Chloe slowly came to, and Ethan buried his head in her neck. His voice was urgent and hoarse. "You're finally awake. I thought I'd never see you again. This is a protective charm I got from Reverend. It will keep you safe. Don't ever scare me like that again." I looked at Aurora's little purplish face in my arms, my heart aching so much I could barely breathe. 10 years, and he wouldn't even spare a thought for Aurora and me. Chapter 4. Ethan, are you satisfied? From now on, I won't bother you anymore. I took Aurora to the hospital, but she died in my arms, having missed the optimal treatment time. It was only a 10-minute walk from the hospital to home, yet I carried her in the rain for an hour. Soaked to the bone, I stood outside the marital home, weeping bitterly. Now, I couldn't even afford to hold a funeral. I knocked on the door to borrow money, but I didn't even see a trace of Ethan, only Chloe blocking the doorway. She no longer put on her previous facade of fragile obedience. With an arrogant stride, she scoffed, "You have the nerve to come back? I thought Ethan had abandoned you, and you'd never show your face here again. I told you long ago, his heart is only for me, but you refused to listen. Planning to marry him was bad enough, but you actually had his child." Seeing my grief, she glanced at Aurora in my arms, then broke into a smile. "Dead? She's actually dead?" I thought what they said online about asthma patients not being able to eat eggs was false. And to think I even swapped her asthma medication for tap water. It's good she's dead. If you hadn't used that medicine on Ethan to have a child, I wouldn't be in this situation today. Maybe, and I would have found happiness together long ago. Grace, do you know this is your retribution? I thought you had some decency. A man entered a monastery just to avoid you, and you still stubbornly cling on, you lowly creature. Before I could speak, Ethan appeared from outside, carrying a blueberry cake. Seeing me, he shoved me aside. "What are you trying to do now?" Chloe's emotions just stabilized, "And you come here to provoke her again." I faced him, still holding Aurora. Ethan's tone was sharp. "You even put this kind of makeup on the child just to make me change my mind. You're just as heartless as before. Are you trying to say that Aurora is dead so Chloe will move out of the marital home, and then, conveniently, I've returned to secular life, and we can be a devoted couple, living happily ever after? You brought a corpse here just to scare Chloe, didn't you? If she's dead, she's dead. Just find a secluded spot, dig a hole, and bury her. No need to waste money on a cemetery. Kill two birds with one stone." Chloe pulled him closer, feigning innocence, and weeping profusely pleaded on my behalf. "Ethan, don't say that. Grace will be hurt. Grace, give me the child. I'll take her to her special room to sleep." She pushed Ethan aside and stepped forward, but I shielded Aurora, refusing to hand her over. In the struggle, she hit her forehead on the edge of the doorframe, bleeding profusely and fainting. Ethan no longer cared about anything else. He picked up Chloe and left. He glanced at me sideways. "You'd better pray she's okay. Otherwise, in front of the meditation room, I won't care about our wedding vows anymore. I'll make sure your reputation is ruined." He left without looking back. At the same time, I received a call from the hospital. Eleanor had passed away despite resuscitation efforts. I used the last of my money to bury Eleanor and Aurora. After the funerals, I asked everyone for money to settle the bill with the funeral home. "Isn't your husband famous now? A secluded monastic figure who returned to secular life is a billionaire. Are you still short on this much money? Get lost. Don't call me again, or don't blame me for exposing your husband's false marketing about being a detached monastic, when in reality he's married with a daughter." Disheartened and hopeless, I sent the security footage from the day I conceived Aurora to Ethan, then cancelled all identification documents. I made one last call, Abbess. I agreed to take over as abbess and practice asceticism in the mountains. Before that, please lend me some money to hold the funerals, Ethan. Are you satisfied? From now on, I won't bother you anymore. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the new CEO of Hayes, Miss. At the press conference, Ethan officially announced Chloe as the new CEO in marketing. They looked deeply into each other's eyes. Ethan gently tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and said softly, "She is kind and loyal. She deserves all the best in this world. I want her to be well, not just in the past, but every day of the future." Chloe lowered her eyes, blushing. "Ethan, I'm not as good as you say. It's thanks to you that I—" Her words were cut off by the press conference screen displaying a rotating loop. Ethan's voice then echoed, "Grace, I love you. My wedding vows are for life. I will love you, respect you, protect you, and be your only hero. But didn't you say you didn't want Chloe to be sad and weren't planning on having children? Are you sure about this? On screen, Ethan leaned in and kissed Grace. On our wedding night. I don't want to hear anyone else's name from your lips. I've changed my mind. Grace, give me a child. I'm completely sober right now. I love you. I'm madly in love with you. Everyone present changed their expressions dramatically. Anyone could see that the person on the screen wasn't the same person who had just been officially announced as CEO. Reporters seized the opportunity, swarming forward frantically. Who is that on the screen? Didn't Miss say Mr. Ethan was the love of her life? How is there a third party now? Mr. Ethan, are you truly officially announcing Miss as your partner? Can you explain who the woman on the screen is? Chloe panicked, looking at the control panel. Turn it off. Don't look. No one look. Just as she was about to rush over, Ethan grabbed her. When did you ever say I was the love of your life? Grace isn't a third party. You know that better than anyone. How do you explain this video? You said back then that Grace asked you to go with her to pick out something that induced conception, and you even saw her put it in my red wine, but on our wedding night, you were clearly flirting with your ex-husband the whole time. She didn't drug me, did she? I just got drunk and revealed my true feelings, overwhelmed by emotion, from beginning to end. Grace was the most innocent one. I'm asking you a damn question. Speak. Chloe was already trembling with fear, unable to break free. She looked at the crowd. Everyone, Ethan isn't feeling well. The press conference is cancelled. Please go home. Well, explain what happened today at a later time. Ethan flung her hand away. This is Hayes. You don't get to decide. Chloe, you suggested I enter a monastery to punish Grace for using drugs to get pregnant, claiming it was for my own good. But in reality, you secretly tripped up Grace every chance you got. When she gave birth, you said the blood was defiled, afraid it would dirty a sacred Buddhist place, and forbade me from seeing her. When she brought the child to see me, you desperately blocked her too. Didn't you say you took photos and videos when Grace bought and administered the drug? Show them to me, and I'll believe you. Chloe's tears instantly flowed, and she wept bitterly. Ethan, open your eyes and look at me. I'm Chloe, the Chloe you cherished in your palm your whole life. I was going to show them to you, but you said there was no need to see them, that Grace was capable of such things, and you even forced me to delete the videos, not wanting her to dirty my phone. Ethan glanced coldly at her, seeing through her lies instantly. If she hadn't added fuel to the fire back then, how could he have entered a monastery in a fit of anger? He had clearly prepared the Hayes documents to confess to Grace the very next day. She even encouraged him at the time, saying there was no need to explain much to Grace, which led to him getting angry and telling Grace to get lost whenever Grace brought up that night. Ethan yanked her closer, his prayer beads hitting her face. Was there never a video from the beginning? Because never bought or used anything like that. On our wedding night, I loved her so much I was overwhelmed by emotion. She was the most innocent person from beginning to end, wasn't she? Ethan, I don't know what you're talking about. Ethan sneered. The security footage from the banquet that day still exists. I can retrieve it anytime, Chloe. Do you really think there's no other evidence besides this video? He had never doubted Chloe before, but now, it seemed full of holes. The reporters were utterly shocked, seemingly forgetting about the interview. This major scandal involving a powerful family is truly damn exciting. The long-standing connection was overshadowed by an unexpected bond, but the childhood friend turned out to be quite manipulative. Pity for the one who stayed with him through his hardships with a child. Amidst the rising discussions, Ethan belatedly realized Grace's importance to him. He immediately abandoned the press conference crowd to find Grace. He wanted to tell her he loved her almost to the point of madness. The meditation room, the hospital, the marital home, Grace was nowhere to be found. Suddenly, a text message arrived on his phone. Mr. Ethan, the cemetery plot for Aurora has only been paid for 1/4. Your wife said you would cover the remaining balance. Dead. Aurora is dead. Ethan frantically sought out Chloe, who at that moment was applying a face mask in the marital home he shared with Grace. He grabbed Chloe and slapped her. Chloe, why did you insist on feeding Aurora eggs back then? Chloe desperately tried to hide her phone behind her back, only making it more obvious. Ethan, let bygones be bygones. I told you then I was just worried Aurora wasn't getting enough to eat. I don't blame you for the press conference. But Ethan, if you keep hurting my feelings like this, I'll want to kill myself to vent your anger. You don't want me to die, do you? Is still mad at me, so she encouraged you to come argue with me? I can go apologize to her myself. It's fine. Before, Ethan would have already embraced Chloe and comforted her. But now, Chloe appeared sharp and cunning in his eyes. Every word she spoke was designed to drive Grace to madness. He recklessly snatched Chloe's phone and expertly opened it. Her browser search history prominently displayed what asthma patients can't eat. Clicking on it, the very top result was egg whites contain ovalbumin, a major trigger for asthma. He threw the phone away, grabbing Chloe's hair and pulling it back. You wanted Aurora dead, Chloe. I've cherished you my whole life, and you're cruel enough to want my daughter's life. You kept claiming you didn't know, coaxing me to give Aurora supplements, saying Grace had made her thin, like a kitten. I thought you genuinely cared for Aurora. What have you done? Chloe's tears streamed down her face from the pain, her face flushed, and she gnashed her teeth with hatred. Facing a furious Ethan, she finally dropped her pretense and shouted, "Yes, I wanted to kill Aurora. She took everything from me. I was clearly the young woman you cherished. Why did Aurora get to have all of this the moment she was born? I was an orphan from childhood. I only knew what it felt like to have a family after I recognized you as my brother. I was supposed to be your only exception. It was bad enough that Grace came to share a piece of the pie, but she actually seduced you and gave birth to that bastard. I want her dead." Looking at Chloe, who had once been so bullied she begged for comfort at his feet, he finally understood that she had changed long ago. She had become insatiable and never satisfied. He took off his prayer beads and without hesitation hit Chloe until her cheeks were swollen and red, making her unpresentable. He then dragged Chloe, making her bow and prostrate with every step, to Aurora's cemetery. If she refused, he would forcefully kick her knees. By the time they reached the cemetery halfway up the mountain, Chloe's legs were bloody and mangled. Seeing a grave with Aurora's name, Ethan finally accepted everything and knelt there. Weeping uncontrollably, Chloe cried and begged him, "Ethan, I know I was wrong. I'll never dare again. Let me get up Aurora. Even if she called me mom, wouldn't want to see me kneeling before her like this. Ethan, I just love you too much. You can't be so cruel to me." Ethan's eyes were bloodshot. He roared, pointing at Aurora's grave. "Does love mean killing my daughter? I don't want this kind of imprisoned love, tainted with broken glass." Just then, passersby shared with those beside them, "The abbess of the mountain monastery is truly beautiful. I heard she's new. She really deserves to be called the most beautiful abbess. We should come back to offer incense and make offerings." Ethan, his eyes bloodshot, stood up and forcefully pulled a passerby photos. "Let me see the photos." He refused to believe Grace had simply disappeared. Aurora was her life. She had to still be here. Sure enough, the photo clearly showed Grace with a shaved head. The winding mountain path was rough. Ethan forced Chloe to prostrate with every step. Unfazed by the stares of onlookers, he murmured softly, "The moment I first saw your eyes, I knew you were my wife. I'm sorry I lost you. I thought being with you was just a task after years of being together, but I didn't know you had quietly taken residence in my heart. I love you, not because you are Grace, but simply because you are you. Every step, every genuflection. I offer as my apology to you. Come back with me, please." He had become famous as the detached monastic who renounced his vows to win back his first love, but now, this fame turned into sharp blades piercing him. Isn't that the detached monastic? And isn't the person next to him the love of his life? Why are they bloody and mangled? You wouldn't know, but he mistreated his ex-wife and doted on his childhood friend, leading to the death of his own daughter. It's gone viral online. Reporters rushed to the scene upon hearing the news, live-streaming the entire event. The 1-hour mountain journey was stretched into 5 hours. Chloe and Ethan's knees were already red, swollen, and bleeding. Upon reaching the mountain peak, the monastery gates were tightly shut. A sweeping monk approached. "My apologies, the abbess refuses to see you." Ethan almost lost his footing. He grabbed the sweeping monk, his face streaked with tears. "Tell her I was wrong about the past. I apologize to her. But please ask her not to refuse to see me. Our relationship of over 10 years can't be erased overnight. I came here, bowing and prostrating with every step, just to ask her to return to secular life and come home with me. Please, let me see her. I know my wife. She's the softest-hearted. If you pass on my message, she'll surely come out." Chloe collapsed in front of the monastery gate, directly exposing Ethan. "I told you long ago, I'm the only one who truly loves you. You came all this way, bowing and prostrating with every step, but she doesn't want to see you at all. It's all your wishful thinking. You clearly said you wanted to be with me forever at the beginning, and now you're feigning deep affection to win back Grace. How many times are you going to put on this act of devotion? Wasn't it you who devoutly and solemnly declared your love for me in front of the meditation room? Besides, Grace's choice now isn't so different from yours back then. She's heartless and doesn't want you. But I do, Ethan. Can we go home? Every word she spoke was a dagger to the heart, each one meant to make Ethan give up hope, but glanced around at everyone and then directly played the recording of Chloe admitting to killing Aurora. Chloe lunged forward like a madwoman, trying to snatch the phone. Ethan, you're insane. If you do this, my reputation will be ruined, and I'll end up in prison. I love you. You can't do this to me. Ethan, please take me away. I don't like it here. The situation escalated. Chloe once again became the target of public scorn, mocked and cursed by thousands in the live stream. She rushed to the monastery gates, pounding on them and cursing. Grace, get out here. All of this is your fault. You deliberately sent that video to Ethan's phone, didn't you? You knew perfectly well the press conference was linked to Ethan's phone. You just wanted to see me humiliated and embarrassed. Now you've seen everything you wanted. So why are you hiding? All you did was to intentionally get Ethan's attention. Are you satisfied now that he wishes I were dead? Everyone else doesn't know you, but I do. Aurora isn't dead at all. This is all a self-orchestrated act by you. I'm going to take the reporters to dig up Aurora's cemetery plot right now. It definitely won't be Aurora buried there. People pointed and whispered, but no one stopped Chloe. She rushed down the mountain, and at the critical moment, the monastery gates opened. I, clad in monastic robes, glanced around coldly. Have you caused enough trouble? Suddenly, my eyes met Ethan's. He laughed and cried, then cried and laughed. He stepped forward, meeting my gaze. Wife, you finally agreed to see me. I knew you couldn't bear to leave me. Can we go home? I was wrong before. It took me until now to realize I love you. I didn't know Chloe truly wanted to kill Aurora. I apologize to you. I wronged you for the past 10 years. Can I make it up to you from now on? He snatched my prayer beads and forcefully broke them. You can't abandon worldly emotions, and I won't let go of you either. Who gave you permission to enter a monastery? Aurora is gone. But we can have another child. I'll give you all the care you need, take you to prenatal checkups and prenatal education classes. I can even teach our child to read and write. Please, let's go home. I looked at him calmly, my heart no longer stirring. You should go. I am abbess now, not Grace. The of the past is dead, having vanished at the foot of the mountain with your repeated biases. Ethan suddenly broke down, tears streaming uncontrollably. Chloe rushed forward and shoved me aside. Grace, what are you pretending to be? Do you know how much Ethan has done for you? He left Hayes, with so many people depending on him, just to get you back. And you're trying to dismiss it with a few words. When will you stop being so selfish and self-serving, and stop taking other people's efforts for granted? Ethan loves you. That's why he came to win you back. Can't you have some pity for him? I nearly lost my balance, but Ethan quickly caught me. He raised his hand and slapped Chloe. Her already swollen face bled even more profusely, and she wept bitterly. Ethan, I'm saying you deserve better. She's not worth this. I love you. We're a perfect match. I'll go home with you, and we can adopt a baby. Ethan's eyes were cold, and he gritted his teeth. What does our relationship have to do with you? You calculated with just a few words to cause my marital breakdown and the death of Aurora. Now you want to meddle between us again, claiming Grace was wrong. What are your true intentions? She's not wrong. Everything she's doing now is just what I did to her. Let her vent her anger, and everything will be all right. He turned to face me, tentatively raising his hand, then pulling it back, awkward and uneasy. I'll always be on your side from now on. Wife, come home with me. I won't enter the meditation room again. I won't hide from you anymore. Can we live a good life together? Let's not be abbess. Let's be Grace, Ethan's wife, the mother of his child. Can we go back to how things were 10 years ago? I remained silent. He snatched the whisk from my hand and threw it away, then began to cry, reaching out to embrace me. I stepped back, picked up the whisk again, and looked him directly in the eye, scoffing. You said my karma was heavy, that I wasn't as gentle and kind as Chloe. But what are you doing now? When will you finally understand that we are long over? I don't hate you, nor do I love you. From the moment I decided to practice asceticism in the mountains, my heart has only been for Buddhism. Everything in the past is just a wisp of smoke. Ethan, go back. I don't wish to see you again. Ethan forcefully wiped away his tears, stubbornly insisting, "No, we're not over. I truly know I was wrong. You must not have seen my determination. I swear on the mountain monastery. I swear on your grave, from now on I will never see Chloe again. My heart is only for Grace. I will love her, protect her, respect her, and be her only hero. Grace, these are our wedding vows. Do you remember them? 10 years of love, solid as a rock. I don't believe you would completely abandon it. If it had been before, hearing such words from him would have made me weep bitterly with emotion. But now, I only felt irony. When I was pregnant, you entered a monastery. When I gave birth, you told me to get lost. When the child was born, you avoided seeing her, yet you named her Aurora. I told you she had asthma, and you said she was hungry, which led to her dying in my arms. Even when I appeared in the marital home holding our child's body, you still protected Chloe. I had no money to hold funerals for Aurora and Eleanor, enduring countless scornful looks, while you were holding a press conference, officially announcing Chloe. The past cannot be erased with a few words. Your presence now only causes me distress. You can do nothing else. I can ignore this overwhelming hatred. What right do you have to cling to the past? I am now abbess. The moment I took my vows, I severed worldly attachments and am no longer connected to you. Veins bulged on Ethan's forehead, and his whole body began to tremble. No, that's not right. I was wrong before. I'll make amends. You can't leave. I can't live without you. He desperately tried to drag me back to Hayes, when the sweeping monk tried to stop him. I clasped my hands together and bowed respectfully, closed the doors and windows tightly. I'm taking full vows, inside the estate. Ethan presented everything I had once desired, but couldn't obtain from him. These are the mystery boxes you once said you wanted. I've collected the entire series for you, Grace. I made you your favorite cheesy baked corn. Have some. Wife, I'm building you a meditation room on the estate. Please don't ignore me, okay? I finally looked at him, my voice low and cold. Ethan, I don't love you anymore. Everything you're doing now is futile. I don't like mystery boxes. I only mentioned wanting them because Aurora did, and cheesy baked corn isn't good, but children like it. You were absent from our lives, Aurora's and mine, now is dead, and you're trying every possible way to appease me. But I don't want it anymore. All I want now is to devote myself to spiritual practice, pray for Aurora's soul's passage, and hope she can be reborn into a better life. Ethan didn't want to hear it. He left the items, embraced me briefly, and whispered in my ear, "You don't have to love me, but please don't stop me from loving you. I'll build your meditation room in the southwest corner, the closest spot to my study. I originally wanted to build a playground for Aurora, please, for the sake of how extremely honest and humble I'm being. Don't look away from me, okay?" When the meditation room was finished, I finally returned to that peaceful sanctuary that brought me comfort. At that moment, I finally understood how Ethan must have felt all those years when I brought Aurora to see him. Annoyed, disgusted, every time I saw him. I was so tormented I wished for death. On the third day of my stay in the meditation room at Hayes, Reverend returned. When she arrived, Ethan was beside me, recounting everything he had seen and heard in the past few days. Reverend bowed respectfully. "Mr. Ethan, why do you persist in this? Everything in the past was a cause of disharmony sown by you, resulting in Abbess's heartbroken consequence. None of this concerns her. So why do you insist on trapping her soul? I gave you the protective charm to keep your closest loved ones safe and out of harm's way. Yet, you inappropriately gave it to a problematic person, which led to you alienating everyone and dying without an heir." Ethan collapsed to the ground, crawling on his knees towards Reverend. "I regret it," he choked out. "I thought Grace was the problematic person, which is why I gave the protective charm to Chloe. You must have a way for me to find peace. I beg you, tell me. I just want to reconcile with Grace. I love her." Reverend looked at me and shook his head. "No, your actions have already led Abbess to understand the futility of worldly desires. I even urged her to return to secular life, but she absolutely refused. It's long over between you two. You just don't want to believe it yet." Ethan crawled towards me on his knees and desperately embraced me, as if trying to hold me so tightly as if to merge with me. "My love, I truly realize my mistake. I'll go beg for protective charms, as many as you want. I'll prostrate myself. I'll donate to build a temple. I don't want anything else. I only want you, please. For my sake, won't you stay?" I watched him weeping bitterly, my face expressionless. Once, I was in his position. "But not everyone will wait for you to come back." I spoke calmly. The incense at the mountain monastery has burned out, and it's time for me to go. This meeting is our final farewell. In 2 weeks, all worldly ties will be severed, and we will never see each other again. I rose and walked towards Reverend, pressing my palms together. My worldly ties are severed. Let's go, Master. Leaving the haze. As we passed the guardhouse, we heard the news of Ethan's passing. Reverend looked at me. Since you're determined to sever ties, there's no need to go, is there? No. I wouldn't grieve Ethan's passing, nor did I believe I caused his death. Everything was his choice, and it had nothing to do with me.